I am Fidelis Noka II. I am the co-founder and CEO of the Alkalign Lifestyle Institute and for quantum healing. And I am essentially a life coach, lifestyle coach, and a biological plant-based chef. What I do is, and also a personal strength and conditioning coach, a trainer. I've done all of them, former professional athlete, and I love what I do. What I do is essentially I get your mind to relax. I get your mind to relax, I get your body to relax. I take you from fight or flight mode to relax and repair, and I give you the tools, the keys that you guys need to sustain that. Meaning you have to have a certain change in lifestyle in order for you to understand that you are the cause of your effects. And it's real. I'm telling you, it's all real. It's based on lifestyle. Your lifestyle reflects your personality. Your personality reflects your personal reality. That's what creates everything. So today, the topic of conversation is going to be, let me get you out real quick. So today, what we're going to talk about is how to stop constipation, bloating, and acid reflux. Really, all three of these things have a connection. Most of it, I'm going to show you guys, it has to do with mental. It has to do with mental and emotional. And also mental and emotional, but then it's due to the factors that you guys are putting into your bodies that are causing these issues. These issues cause a whole lot more than you think. Okay? When your gut is off balance, when your solar plexus is not thriving, you don't have any power, no self-esteem. So the goal right now is to get you out of fight or flight mode, get your gut working again, stomach working again, and essentially get your relationships under control. I know it sounds far-fetched for people to understand this, but this kills more relationships than anything. This is what I truly believe stops more relationships from happening, from being, than anything. Because of the simple fact that this is what shrinks a person, this right here. All right, so let's get into immediately the causes, okay? And you'll see these things in your own life. Okay, so like how I do this is I want you to understand that these are not just things, these are things that you know, because you experience them in your own life. You know, you've already gone through the process, and you've already figured out why most of these things are happening to you, but you're gonna really start to see it like, okay, yeah, I do this. So like this, share, subscribe to somebody who knows, or to my channel. Share this live stream with anybody who you know struggling with this issue. All right, let's go with the first one. So the first issue right off the bat is stress. The first cause that you're gonna see, it's a common cause, but it's stress. The reason that this is the most common cause is because of, and let me be very, very specific when I say this. I'll put emotional stress. This is a common cause. Now, stress and digestion are more closely linked than you might think. All right, and when you're stressed, your body activates. I'll draw this up too because you guys are gonna really take notice of this right here. This is what we're gonna put down as ANS. Okay, so I'll put ANS. ANS stands for autonomic nervous system. Now you're gonna have two sides on this, and I'll put each side based on what's going on. So here's gonna be sympathetic. This is gonna be sympathetic on this side. That's going to equal fight or flight. All right, that's fight or flight. Here is parasympathetic. That's going to be relax and repair. Now, there's two things. We're gonna go specify this. We're gonna say two things. So this is fight or flight, relax and repair. Let's be even more specific to this. We'll say closed we'll say open, and we'll say survival, and we'll say growth. All right? That's what we're going to put down. Focus on the emotional place where I'm telling you this is how you're thinking, your emotional stress. So, what's happening when you have emotional stress? What's happening is that you have tension in your muscles in the area known as the viscera. This is the area known as the viscera. Okay, your visceral organs above the waistline. All of your organs that do something, that have a process, that take care of something, they're housed above your waistline. All right, they're above this area. No, excuse me, but I'll be more specific. They're housed above the perineum. The perineum is a flap of skin between your genitals and your anus. The perineum is where it actually begins. So where your 7 chakras begin is down there at the perineum. So that would be this area right here, under this area. That separation in between. That's the perineum. Now, when you have an alteration in terms of emotional stress, it's affecting the energy flow from all 7 chakras. Chakras are just glands. Chakras are glands. Think of chakras as the ovaries, the testes in a man, the ovaries in a woman. You can look at it from the adrenals, the sacral, the adrenal glands. On top of your kidneys, you can look at the solar plexus as the pancreas. And you can look at the heart as the thymus gland, the throat as the thyroid gland. And you have the pineal gland and the pituitary gland up top. That's your 7 chakras. Root, you have sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. They're glands. Let's speak in terms of science at this moment, so you know what I'm talking about. When you have stress, you have hormonal changes. You start to create imbalances. You increase levels of cortisol. Cortisol does what? Cortisol slows down your gut motility, meaning your food moves more sluggishly. It's like going to an escalator at the mall, and it was working. It was just you was just flying. It was going up like the one in the airport when you walk on the airport and you're walking and it was like you're teleporting and you just sprint all the way across. But in this area, when you have hormonal changes, it slows down that process. Now you have that sluggish looking escalators going like this here, slow like that. So you don't have the food moving through your intestines the way it could. Because the intestines are supposed to squeeze it, like toothpaste, it's like just moving along the conveyor belt. Okay? What happens again in stress is it causes imbalance in terms of your abdominal muscles to tighten. It makes you flex your abs. Simply makes you flex your abs. It makes it harder for your intestines to contract and move the waist along. So here's the thing that you gotta understand. When you're stressing yourself emotionally, what can this be? It can be anything. Anything. A bill, you gotta move, your children, something that you got, like if you have an interview for a new job, anything. It can be anything that you're not in alignment with that's causing this problem. But I'm telling you, it alters more things than you understand. So also what emotional stress does is it alters your gut microbiome. Your microbiome disrupts the balance of good bacteria and bad bacteria. When you have good bacteria, they eat everything, they move all the energy through your body, they keep your mood regulated, so you're in a happy mood. When you have too much bad bacteria, it's like a seed environment for nothing but invaders to come through and disrupt some stuff, tear some stuff up. That's why you have to understand, you have to fix this area and change this area of emotional stress. You also have poor eating habits. When you're stressed, people eat differently. People eat differently. You begin to change the diet. So this right here, the reason why I put it as the first cause is because it's going to affect a whole lot more than you think. It's going to keep you in this area here. So causes are going to be directly linked to sympathetic nervous system, behavior, fight or flight. You're in fight or flight with these causes. This is what's causing you to have constipation, bloating, and acid reflux because you ate something and now it's not moving. because you closed off the visceral organs to get the job done. It's not moving. So now that you have poor eating habits, I guarantee you're not drinking enough water. Because when you are in fight or flight, there's no time for you to eat, no time for you to relax, no time for you to hydrate yourself, no time for these processes to work in your body because you don't have any energy into them anyway. All the blood that was inside the viscera, blood considered just as energy, spirit, carried oxygen. When you losing this blood and now it's going to your arms and legs to protect you, run, fight, or hide, all of a sudden you don't have any blood, any energy in the area of the viscera to take care of your digestion and create energy. Then, dehydration. Stress is dehydration, which then, the fluids, your stools, your poop becomes hard, and now it becomes difficult for it to pass through. So, all of a sudden, constipation, which basically is like holding waste inside your gut. People are walking around with like pounds of poop inside their gut right now. You see people walking around with these bellies that are so big, bloated bellies. It's just a bunch of gas, a bunch of poop, and then when they eat the food, they have stomach acid it's too acidic, and all of a sudden it just shoots back up to the esophagus, and so that's why you have all these different issues. Now you don't have to be overweight to have this too. You can be skinny, tiny, and you still have these issues too. So, we'll talk about the stress hormone, cortisol. What does cortisol do? Cortisol, again, it slows down gut motility. Your food moves slowly through your digestive tract. Then you have increased acid production. This is the issue where it now goes to acid reflux. You have now increased acid production. So I'll add this one too. So let's put this. So I'll put emotional stress. I'll put cortisol, increased cortisol. And then I'll put increased acid. When you got so much stomach acid, this is hydrochloric acid. If you keep eating anything, it will then shoot back. Instead of going down and getting dissolved, broken down as the energy, ATP, it goes back into the esophagus, acid reflux. Okay? Gut microbiome disruption is big because when you have, again, emotional stress, you have increased cortisol, you're still disrupting your gut microbiome and you're reducing your blood flow to the gut. Now, here's what you cause something everyone pretty much knows of as leaky gut. What does that mean? It's a long-term cortisol exposure. It's just like having a long-term acidic exposure that's creating holes and gaps inside of your stomach lining. And this is the issue that you're having intestinal permeability, which essentially is called leaky gut. You're having a compromised gut. Now, if you can manage your cortisol levels, there's solutions to this part. We'll get to the solutions in a little bit. Okay, but next up we're going to talk about mouth breathing. So this is, okay. Let me tell you guys about something that you just haven't thought about. Okay, in terms of fasting, people talk about fasting a lot. Intermittent fasting, they talk about, 3-day fast and all these things. All right, look. I get it. I understand. You want to get yourself under control. All right? Fasting is good in that regard. Let's talk about something that's even more simple. You can't fast from breathing. I want you to try to fast for 3 days from breathing. I want you to tell yourself you're going to willingly, without fail, just get up and say, you know what? For the next 3 days, I'm gonna do a breath fast. Try it. Come back to me in 3 days. If your ass is still here, you ain't gonna make it past 20 minutes. You ain't gonna make it past 10 minutes. You probably ain't gonna make it past 20 seconds for some of you who don't have control of your breath right now. You can't fast from breathing. So this is the issue that I see. Let me draw this for you real quick. Something real simple. So just check this, take your attention right here. I'll put a person right here, just a little stick figure. I'll put smiley face and I'll put a dot that says the nose. This is nasal breathing. Then here you see the mouth. This is the mouth. Mouth breathing. This is going down. Nasal breathing is going where? It's going up. It's going up. Something as simple as this. Now, when you have mouth breathing, and let me really get you to understand how important this is. I just told y'all, you can't fast from breathing. So what's the most important thing that you need on this planet right now to survive? Breathing, oxygen. You need oxygen. You don't have any oxygen, your ass is out of here. I'm just telling you. So, when you cannot breathe properly, when you have mouth breathing, instantly you turn on the sympathetic nervous system. Instantly. You can't get out of it. There's no way for you, there's no way out of it. I'm telling you, there's no way out of it. When you are in mouth breathing, there's no way out of it. I wasn't, okay, so here's coming from an athletic perspective. I did not become an elite athlete until I figured out how to wear a mouthpiece, go down and back, and train my mind to breathe through my nose. I was not elite in any way, shape, or form. Once I figured out how to do this process, I became a thinker while I was on the basketball court, on the field, on the track, wherever I was. But I was able to now use my cognitive function along with my body. There's no way for you to do it if you don't figure out how to breathe. So what happens first? You reduce your oxygen intake by breathing through your mouth instead of your nose. You have lower oxygen levels. Now what happens when you have lower oxygen levels? Let me scroll all the way down. I want your attention to go right down here. It goes to increased carbon dioxide levels. This happens. So this is related to this. These two are connected. Mouth breathing leads to increased carbon dioxide levels. What is carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide is what we exhale, and that is what the plants, what the trees consume. Where do we get oxygen from? The trees produce the oxygen for it because the oxygen is actually the waste of the trees. That's what they exhale, and we breathe it in. Meaning it's an ecosystem that we have a part of where we're in one area, they're in one area. Okay, so this is how the circle of life continues. But this is the issue. When you have increased carbon dioxide, you also have a higher level of acidity. So on the scale of 0 to 14, on the pH scale, potential hydrogen, that's what this scale is about. You need to be in the center line at 7.35 to 7.55. That's neutral, slightly alkaline. Because the more carbon dioxide that you have, that's the more acid that you have. You're more acidic. Being more acidic, I just told y'all, increased cortisol levels, increases your stomach acid. All of a sudden, when you have too much carbon dioxide, what happens to your stomach acid, the carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide neutralizes your stomach acid. It don't even do nothing. It don't even work. You're pumping the exhaust from your vehicle back into your vehicle. You're pumping the waste gas out of your vehicle into your vehicle. Tell me how that makes sense. So all of you people who drink sparkling water, all you people who drink soda, all you people who drink anything carbonated beverages, any kind, C4, energy drinks to go to the gym, all of them have carbonated water inside of them. What does carbonated water mean? It means they took the carbon dioxide and they injected it back inside of the water and they gave it to you. And they call it sparkling water. This is a luxurious drink. Go ahead and take that. No, there's nothing luxurious about it. Because now what happens is you now have an increased level in carbon dioxide. That increased carbon dioxide is going to shut down the system of peristalsis, which is what you call digestion. It's not healthy, y'all. Back to mouth breathing. So mouth breathing also leads to a nervous system imbalance because it does not activate the parasympathetic nervous system. It activates the fight or flight nervous system. Now, if you can't get into this, relax and repair, you can't ever turn on the system of digestion. It doesn't work. Okay, so if you're keeping the body in a fight or flight state, it slows down digestion, it leads to constipation, which then can lead to bloating, then can lead to acid reflux. So this is usually first. You're constipated, that's usually first. You got waste products inside your belly just sitting up in there, not moving, turns to bloating because now it's gonna be gas, it's gonna be going and formulating inside your gut, and it's gonna be acid reflux. It's gonna be, you're trying to eat more on top of what you already have, and you're gonna move it all the way back into your esophagus. Now again, dehydration, mouth breathing can cause you to have dry mouth. Dry mouth is the last signal. When you have dry lips, that's the last signal of dehydration. That's the last thing. By the time you have dry mouth, you've already been chronically dehydrated for a long time. So you've already been in the area of fight or flight for a long time. That's a common cause of hard stools and constipation is increased water loss and dehydration. Then you alter your pH levels again because increased mouth breathing, like I just said, it disrupts the pH balance, meaning it has too much carbon dioxide inside of your blood. Your blood is carried inside your oxygen by your red blood cells. You need to get this transported somehow, some way, and it needs to keep in circulation. That's why you have these systems inside your body, to get the things to go where it needs to go. Okay, so you then have poor sleep quality. Mouth breathing is often if you have sleep apnea, if you have those CPAP machines, if you have these snoring, if you snore a lot inside your sleep, I guarantee again, you're probably a mouth breather. Probably a mouth breather. Okay? So, like I said, you're going to understand that there's short term and there's long term. We're going to talk about both. Okay? Now, when you have acute stress, and you have long-term stress. So, back to stress. Not just emotional stress, but just stress, period, of every kind. When you have acute stress, when you get suddenly stressed, when you get suddenly shocked, when something happens to you and there's a big presentation or like a project or you gotta go on stage to go speak, what happens to you? You have a fight or flight response. You get nervous. You're going on stage. You know, the first time I probably started doing content creation, I was putting the camera on, I might have got a little nervous because I'm going to be on camera, something's happening, people going to be seeing me, all this type of stuff. Okay, cool. I have to figure out how I'm speaking, so on and so forth. I might have got short-term stress. The fight or flight response can kick in. What happens is you have rapid digestion or slow digestion. But if you have either too fast or too slow, you have gas retention, you have bloating. All right? You have increased swallowed air, where if you're the person that was a chugger, when you go to the parties, you chugging beers, or you just start chugging air, rapid breathing can cause you to start chugging in too much air. Like I told you, if you're gonna be in breathing through your mouth, it's gonna be going directly down to fill up this belly. That's gonna be gas because you're breathing it in. You're breathing it in through here. Now, what happens is you also get temporary fluid retention. That makes the bloating feel more pronounced. The fluid needs to be going throughout your entire body. Your brain gets 18 to 20% of the water that you are intaking. Your water is held under your fifth vertebrae in your spine. And then you have things called histamines, brain regulators that send the water all over the place where it needs to get to hydrate the organs, to keep everything working and functioning properly. That's what happens when you have short-term stress. What about long-term stress? Long-term stress is even worse because this is ongoing. So it's like, say you have a job that you just can't stand, but your ass keep going. You keep going to the job. You have a relationship that's not working out because you aren't working out, and you keep the relationship. You don't change your attitude towards it. You feel like life is coming at you instead of happening for you. It's not happening in the way that you want it to happen. So all of a sudden you feel like you're stressed, chronic stress. Again, this causes gut motility changes, long-term bloating, and irregular bowel movements. Whenever you eat food, think about this. You need to eat for energy, You need to eat for waste production, meaning it needs to go through, charge you up, do its job, and then it has to get out. You should have an instant bowel movement within about 30 minutes to an hour or something like that. As long as it's moving through the conveyor belt and you know you got to get it where you got to get to, you should be able to get up, go poop it out, get rid of the food that you just ate if your system is working and functioning properly. If not, you're going to have it, it's going to be sitting there, all right, collecting more and more waste, stacking. And that's going to be a problem for you. You'll have imbalances in your gut bacteria, leading to fermentation and excess gas. Here's a problem. People like to eat fruits like dessert. Fruits are not dessert. Fruits are meant to be consumed first. Fruits are meant to be consumed to prepare your body for digestion. You do not eat your fruit as dessert. That's not how it works. You don't eat your fruit on top of the food that you already put in, because what happens is it stops the process and it begins to ferment. It should have already been in there. So your fruit should have been preparing you to now take in the rest of your food. That's what's supposed to happen. Your fiber intake is supposed to be first. Intake your fiber before you intake everything else, and all of a sudden when the food comes in, it's now going to be able to be broken down. Make sure you're chewing your fruit properly. Chew your fruit like a cow. Chew it. Break it down. The first process of digestion occurs up here inside of your mouth. Prebiotics and chewing to liquefy your food. So when it goes down here, you're not swallowing whole pieces of food. Chew your food. Relax. Don't eat with your cell phone, your laptop. Don't eat while you're driving. Eat when you're stationary, when you have full presence, when you're present and you're able to give all your time and attention to your food. Pray over your food. Send good energy to your food. Send good affirmations to your food. Thank you, gratitude, appreciation. That's how you're supposed to eat your food. It's going into you to become part of you. Think about that next time you're going to go get something to eat. Okay? What happens again, you have changes in gut bacteria, and also you have heightened gut sensitivity. So it makes everything feel just so much more chronic and exaggerated. It's just more and more intense. Okay? So we'll talk about again also a lack of exercise. A lack of exercise. And this is really, really big. Actually, let's stay on mouth breathing real quick, because in terms of bloating, what happens again when you have increased swallowed air? Breathing through your mouth allows you to swallow more air. That builds up in your intestinal tract, and that is also what causes bloating. So mouth breathing, we're not done yet. When you disrupt your nervous system balance, and again, you're altering your carbon dioxide levels, okay? You're not only impacting your gut microbiome, but like I said, you're not even thinking about the fact that you're taking in air where it shouldn't be going. It should be going up here. It should not be going down here. Okay, so let's talk about exercise. Now, here's the thing about exercise. Okay? You have to have intestinal contractions. Physical activity does encourage you to have intestinal contractions. Okay, you need to have abs. You need to have some sort of inner abs. Not so here. I'm cut, lean. I got abs on the outside. But you also have muscle on the inside. You have abs on the inside. You don't have abs on the outside. You have abs on the inside. We have muscles on the inside that are supporting your intestines to contract more effectively, moving your stools along your digestive tract. You need to exercise. And the reason that you do this is because it reduces your stress level. It actually releases happy chemicals. When you have a lack of exercise, you have a lack of happy chemicals. You can release oxytocin, dopamine, human growth hormone, just by exercising. You see what I'm saying? So now if you're not exercising, if you're not doing it every single day, that's a natural endorphin, a natural one. Exercise. Think about that. You'd rather go get a pill to do it? You'd rather go get something on the outside to stimulate the thing that you can do for yourself? Make it make sense. You see, because this is the thing. When you reduce your stress, which slows down your digestion, okay, exercise helps you regulate your stress hormones, and it also gets rid of the cortisol. So, like exercise, this is how you create the environment to increase your cortisol. All right, and then also, it encourages you to drink more water. Now, I talk about going to get some red line, or going to get some Gatorade. That's trash. Going to get some Powerade, all them aids. I'm not talking about that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about hydration. I'm talking coconut water, watermelon water. What I suggest people to get is called negative ORP. I'll put that next when I talk about hydration. Negative ORP, alkalized water. It's ionized water that you can go find in a self-service container. You can go pick it up for yourself. That's some of the greatest things that you can have for your body. And all the processes that I'm talking about are supported by exercise. You support your gut microbiome health by regular movement. Because you balance your gut bacteria. You improve your blood flow, which is circulation. That's your system of digestion, support nutrient absorption and bowel function. You can improve all these things just by you going to exercise every single day. And also, you enhance your abdominal muscle function. Core strengthening exercise. There's what's called the coregasm. Women in general, especially. Women, if you focused on core workouts where you would focus on this area here, your reproductive organs and the system right here, and you focus on this area here, and you focused on reproduction system building, exercise building, this in itself would then cause you to literally have a coregasm. A coregasm is essentially you working out, and now you're releasing pressure. And now all of a sudden you are achieving a heightened state of awareness and pleasure from exercise. That's the good thing about coregasm. And it encourages you again to drink some more water. Now, exercise also does one thing: lymphatic flow. You have the lymph waste inside your head that comes from the mirror neurons and astrocytes. It's draining into the lymph. All right? It's draining into the lymph, which is below the neck. The lymph is blood plus interstitial fluid, and the lymph is CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, plus interstitial fluid. You have both of those. Things are flowing in that regard. It needs to come down. Okay? When it comes down, moving, doing some pressure. Simple body squats. All right? Simple, you can do jumping jacks. Something simple. Simple, just do something. Burpee. A burpee was you come down with a push up and you're jumping. So burpees, you're coming down, clap. You're gonna be here, legs out, jump. Burpee. Simple movements that you can do. You're going to be able to start to increase the lymphatic flow, lymphatic drainage. Okay? So we got through, let's see. All right, so here's another thing that I'll talk about. This is gonna be diet. Look, y'all, you gotta stop eating garbage food, okay? When you're eating food like too much breads, where you're eating too much fried foods, you're eating foods that are locked into place. First of all, they don't have any energy. You're eating too much oil, too much seed oil. And people say seed oil is not bad. I think it's awful if you get something that's cheap. They haven't been cooking with Crisco enough. Because all this stuff is actually based off of petroleum base. So if you're using Crisco to go fry some fish, you're using some oil, petroleum, using petroleum jelly, petroleum, gasoline. You're actually cooking food with gasoline. And so when you start to see that these are all chemicals formed by excess, it's just cheap. It's cheap for a reason. It's waste products that they didn't want to get rid of until you put it back inside the food. You're taking protein shakes. Protein shakes are basically just poop, excess feces from animal-based products. And they put it and grinded it up, and they scraped it off, and they put it out of a bucket, and they said, this is protein shake. It's going to give you protein. It's going to give you muscle building. No, it's awful. So when you take it in, first thing that gets compromised is your gut. That's not anything that you want to eat. So here's what we're going to talk about. The diet that you should be eating is bioelectric, meaning bioavailable, and it's also electrical, in terms of plant-based, you want to have high fiber fruits. You can eat prunes, you can eat apples, you can eat pears, you can eat kiwis, you can eat things that, and apples are probably the best, actually, I'll say. You can eat watermelons, you can eat grapes, berries. Grapes, I'm gonna put a check by grapes. Grapes to me are exceptional because they pull the mucus out of your body. Not only do they pull out mucus out your body, they also rehydrate you as quick as possible. They hydrate the inner cell and also the environment outside the cell. I understand H3O2 chains, so you probably have heard H3O2 chains come from fruits. That is correct. But what I'm saying is you still have to hydrate your environment outside the cell, which is your blood. Your cells will get hydrated, but you need to understand that you need to have more high fiber fruits on your diet. High fiber fruits. Cease with too much meat. Cease with too much dairy. Because the problem with these things are they can't be broken down enough and absorbed by your body, by your gut. If you get up in the morning and you eat breakfast, and your breakfast is a big old bowl full of oats and Wheaties, you can't break them oats and them Wheaties down for you to get no energy from that. It's garbage. That's why I'll show you guys on my actual food journal. This is my actual food journal that I keep. Now, mind you now, I'm 195 pounds. I'm about 5% body fat. That's me. I'll give you guys an overview. Let me walk up to the camera real quick. I'll show y'all my consistent food journal that I keep. Something very, very simple. Very, very simple. So here's my simple food journal right here, y'all. So all I do is I get up in the morning, I take in some grapes, I take in some mangoes. I set myself some times, about 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. All right, and 16 ounces of water. So as soon as I get up in the morning, I drink a 16-ounce glass of water. First thing I do. After that, I plan my food that I'm going to eat today. So from 2 to 4 p.m., I will have an avocado, some Celtic salt, some tofu, some cabbage, some carrots, some corn, and another 16-ounce glass of water. And then for dinner, I'll probably just finish up with some grapes and some mangoes. If I add anything along the way, sure. You know, that'll be about 6 p.m. and I can just put 6 p.m. afterwards. This is how I do this. So this is what's called, and I'll show you guys an example. This is called the Awaken 33-Day Cellular Paradigm Shifting Journal. I do this. My clients do it, but I do it too. Because I have to understand how I'm working. So the thing that you're supposed to do is track yourself, check your own progress. Okay? Vegetables are good. Leafy greens, kale, of course, Swiss chard, dandelion greens, broccoli, carrots, Brussels sprouts. They provide you some fiber, some nutrients. They support your gut health. You can even eat some whole grains because whole grains are actually, in terms of fruit. I eat brown rice, long grain. I eat jasmine rice. I also eat tricolored quinoa. It's all organic. You can find them all in bulk areas, and they also add bulk to your stool and help it move through the intestines. You can eat some legumes, some seeds. Yesterday I had, for example, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, cashews. You can eat lentils. You can eat chickpeas, which is garbanzo beans. You can eat flax seeds, chia seeds. They're all rich in fiber. They also help regulate digestion. Some probiotic food for you to take in. Sauerkraut is a pretty good one. Kimchi is also a really good one. Cucumbers, watermelon, like I said, grapes. Cucumbers, so I'll add cucumbers to this too. Cucumbers, you could even put lemons inside your water. As soon as you get up in the morning, what you're supposed to do is not add more waste onto the waste that was coming out. The reason is because overnight you have this process. 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning is your gallbladder. Your stomach acid is beginning to increase. Here's the circadian clock, okay? 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. is when your blood's being cleansed by your liver, all right? 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. is when your lungs are being cleansed. All the mucus, all the fluid retention is coming out from your lungs. And then 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. is when your large intestine and your colon is now getting rid of the waste material. People are usually they're usually waking up at this time. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. is your stomach. So what you want to do is you want to clear out yesterday's poop. Clear out yesterday's poop, because overnight it was packaging up all the waste material, and now it's packaging it up for it to send it out. When you get up in the morning, 16-ounce glass of water is going to help you move the waste out of your intestines. Poop it out. And then what you do is, I actually eat grapes in the morning for breakfast because I want to pull out all the mucus from my lungs. So I eat grapes, I drink a 16-ounce glass of water. I don't do anything else for about maybe 2-3 hours. I give myself some time, about 10, 11 a.m., I might add a mango, I might add an apple, just for some fiber. And then after that, my lunch is my biggest meal of the day. It's my lunch, because at 2 o'clock, that is your small intestine. Circadian clock. This is how we teach this. This is how I teach this. All right? Circadian clock says at 2 p.m., your small intestine is now going to take in all the energy that you've been putting in. It's now going to formulate that energy to adenosine triphosphate. But you have to do some movement in order to get the energy. Okay, so afterwards, you're going to have your bladder and then your kidneys. Okay, your bladder, you get 3 to 5 is going to be your bladder, 5 to 7 is going to be your kidneys. Here's where you see people struggling with their adrenals all the time, because out there at 5 o'clock, they're in traffic. They're not sitting there focused on one thing. They're rushing from one place to the next. They haven't gotten a place of transition. They don't have a transition. So when you start to see how this is working just based upon food, think about it. When you're eating on the go, think about it. When you're eating on the go, did you and you went into the process and you decided I needed to consume something as quick as possible, and I got to go from one place to the next. That's what happened to you. Okay? So, in order for you to stop this process of constipation and bloating and acid reflux, you got to actually be mindful when you're taking in food. Be mindful when you're taking in food. Okay? Let's keep going. So, those are some foods that you got. Food. Okay? Let's keep going. So, those are some foods that you guys can. So, let me see. Okay. So, if you keep going, let's keep going. Almost there today. And let's see, what was the question? Okay, no. So I intermittent fast. Your circadian clock does not change. Understand this. Your circadian clock is part of the zodiac. It's part of this. So you don't change it. This does not change. This is always going to be here. So it's going to go every 2 hours. It's going to keep on going. It's going to keep on going. It's going to keep on going. Your clock does not change. You have to follow the big clock. So understand that too. Circadian clock is based upon the zodiac. It's based upon how the earth is moving. We're a small part of the earth. We're just cells, a part of the earth. So even though I intermittent fast, I don't particularly eat food every hour on the hour, because people eat too much. I'm 6'2", I'm 195 pounds, 5% body fat. I do not consume stacks and stacks of meat all the time. I'm 42 years old. I go play ball. I go hike the mountains with my pit bulls. I'm as fit as they come. I get up every morning. I got the same workout. I work out for 6 days, 7 days, because my 7 days is going to be a stretching day. I work out every single day. I move my weight. I move my body. I do everything I got to do to make sure I look good. I feel good. That's what I do. But intermittent fasting, it just means I'm pausing the time from in between my last meal to my next meal. So I do all the work in between that. I may build up. See, when you exercise, you have acid buildup. So you need to make sure that you're balanced out. But you're following the clock on this side, on this end. Okay? So one thing that you guys can do also, ginger. I'm a big fan of ginger. Ginger, turmeric, peppermint, mints. Those things are really, really good. And again, probiotic food, prebiotic foods. Potassium-rich foods are good too, because you need to have 12 mineral cell salts. Understand that. Bananas, avocados, sweet potatoes, they also regulate fluid balance and they reduce bloating. Again, constipation and acid reflux. Let's keep going. So again, high fiber, and all these things stop all these things. It stops all of this. All right, so alkaline foods, bananas, melons, cauliflower, cucumbers, lettuce, watermelon. All these things they do all these three: bloating, constipation, acid reflux. They stop these things. Okay, so let's keep going. So if you have acid reflux too, you don't want to be too spicy. So you don't want to consume too much spicy, fatty, and acidic food. Not a lot of fried foods. Don't do a lot of oranges. Don't do a lot of citrus. You don't need to. If you have an acid reflux, because your stomach acid is already building back up into your throat. So tomato-based sausage, like those things, don't do too much of that. Just stick with the ginger. That's probably the spiciest that you're gonna get. Gonna be the ginger. Even like cayenne, but not a lot of it. You don't need too much of it. But watery foods is gonna help you to dilute some of your stomach acid if you have acid reflux. Okay, and so let's keep going. So here's the big thing. Nasal breathing again. So this is what the effects of all these things are. They impact your electrolytes. They impact reduced fiber intake, hormonal imbalances. This is what it's going to lead to. If you guys have a relationship, I have a partner, I have a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, you lower your libido. You also cause erectile dysfunction because you're blocking the blood flow. There's a block in the blood flow. This is the block right here. You can't even see the area down there. You're not going to want to do nothing. And then some people have a block where it stops here, and they can't see anything past this because their energy flow stops at the gut. So they're consumed by it. They're driven by it. That's what you call gout. That's what you call King's disease. You see, so people are so formed, they're driven by their bellies. They're driven by greed. You can tell somebody's emotional place just by looking at their belly too. I'm telling you. Some people are angry. Some people are stressed for reasons that it's like having a child not want to share their toys. They think it's theirs. You don't, just let you guys know, whenever you die from here, you don't get to take all your stuff with you. It stays here for the next person to use. Just in case you didn't know that. So, lowering your libido, erectile dysfunction. What is this causing? A lack of intimacy. A lack of intimacy. So now you can't be intimate with your partnership. Now you can't be connected physically or intimately on an intimate level with your partner because of the simple fact that you've caused this. Mouth breathing. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling you right now. If you can't find some calmness of mind, stay in the relax and repair mode and the open mode. Your cells must open to growth. They open to receive things. If your cells are closed, I guarantee you as a person are also closed off to everything. Okay? So, when you again realize that you feeling discomfort or pain abdominally, also a lack of energy. When you feel sluggish, your level of energy is low, intimacy is less appealing, you don't want to do it. That's why you say women are too tired to have sex. So men are complaining, I can't have nothing from my wife or from my girlfriend, she's stressed. And women, that's not the man's fault. That's your perception's fault. That's how you're looking at life's fault. It's how you're looking at them's fault. Same thing in response to the male counterpart. And because the male can't just go out there, or he shouldn't just go out there and be an idiot and hurt and harm people to go get something physical in terms of intimacy, he should be able to do this the right way. You have to understand that if you can't control what you're consuming, mainly I'll talk about this, caffeine. Caffeine causes you to not be able to generate your own adenosine because caffeine is an adenosine inhibitor. Adenosine is what you need to have that to go through the process in your mitochondria to create adenosine triphosphate, ATP, which is the actual energy. If you drink caffeine, too much caffeine, if you're getting up in the morning and the first thing that you do is consume coffee, it's because you don't even have any real energy. And I guarantee by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you don't have any life energy within you. So what this does is it reduces your confidence. When you don't have energy, when you have low libido, when you don't have any desire, you have a reduced level of confidence, because by having issues with digestion, it leads to self-consciousness. It affects a person's comfort in intimate situations. Okay? You also have what's called avoidance. You literally have an avoidance. You have gut health plays a role in your mood regulation. So when you see people who have an attitude, if you're yelling and fighting all the time, arguing all the time, I guarantee the person who you're arguing with has an imbalance, hormonal imbalance, and that's because they have chronic constipation. It leads to irritability, stress, and fatigue. Those things again interfere with intimacy. You will stop the process of intimacy just because your stomach hurts. Y'all can tell me online, but I'm calling everybody up. You stop the process of intimacy with your partner just because you had too much gas or bloating or something like that. You caused that issue, and that was the issue where if you didn't solve the issues of digestion within yourself, inside your belly, you can't even become intimate with your own partner, husband and wife, doesn't matter, girlfriend, boyfriend, it does not matter. So stress and connection. If constipation causes distress, it leads to withdrawal from intimacy, avoiding physical touch, and feeling distracted. So now you start going to seek things, going to go seek things to go buy, going to go see things to go spend. You have to do something to see how you can appeal to yourself to make yourself feel better. It's not going to happen. You got to fix your gut. Poor sleep is an effect that comes from all of these. These are the causes, these are the effects. Poor sleep. When you can't get any sleep, like I told you guys, the circadian clock, overnight. So from 9 to 11 p.m. is what they call the pericardium, which is going to be the system around the heart. It's actually called the triple burner. The triple burner is actually a way for you also to formulate your energy, which is using the different systems, triple systems, to create the energy. The pericardium is 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's the outer layer casing of your heart. That's what this time of the night, the evening is, at 7 p.m. It's supposed to be a time for you to be journaling, intimacy, for you to be in a recovery mode, for you to be starting to wind down for the day. And then at 9 p.m., this starts to take effect, the triple burner. Now after that, you have the stomach acid in the gallbladder, then your liver, then you have the lungs, then you have your large intestine, then you have your stomach. And it keeps on going. Stomach, spleen, heart, and it goes from small intestine, and then it goes from the bladder, the kidneys, and it keeps on going. Every 2 hours, it keeps on going. So when you stop this process, literally, in sleeping, you're turning off the natural order of detoxification. You cause poor digestion because of all of these things, mainly emotional stress and increased cortisol. Mouth breathing, I told you guys, was the number one, mouth breathing. And then you have diet, lack of exercise, dehydration, so on and so forth. Body image issues. When you have body image issues, that's also because of constipation, bloating, and acid reflux. An imbalance inside the gut is causing you to have body image issues with yourself. You look at yourself in the mirror and you're not confident about the person you see in the mirror. Stress and avoidance, and then low self-esteem. Low self-esteem means you cannot get past yourself because you did not create an image of yourself that was God's image. You created an image of yourself that was in response to somebody who said you couldn't be something. It's called a lie identity. You have a lie identity, meaning everything that people told you that you could not be because they believed it. Not because they're honest or because that's what it really is. That's just because they believed it. That's what that means. So then what you do is you say, I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm gonna be this person. So you make up a persona that's not even really you. You just make something up because you want to get back at them. You're still literally living your life in response to how somebody saw you. all because you did not affirm yourself. That's what the lie identity happens. So then you have low self-esteem, you create a low self-image because anything that's less than God's image of you is a low self-image. That's what I'm telling you. Anything that's less than God's image of you is low self-image. And then again, you have pain and discomfort. So those are the effects. Mainly you break up your relationships because you stop a positive relationship with yourself. You cease to exist. All right, here is the solutions. Now we're at the point of we're gonna change this. All right, proper hydration. This is how this is gonna work. I teach you to do this. 8 to 16 ounces, waking up, midday, and then before sleep. You gotta hydrate, y'all. Because the only thing that people don't understand, scientists cannot understand how water works. They're just seeing it as water is amazing. It does amazing things. They don't know where it come from. They don't know how we got it here. They don't know nothing about it. They just know it's infinite. That's your Jesus Christ. Water and oil. Magic is water. Now get the right kind. Write this down, take some notes. Freshpure.com. You have what's called negative ORP. That stands for oxidation reduction potential. Antioxidizing water. What this water does is it allows you to move the waste material through your body. You can either go get a Kangen water machine. Kangen has a negative 639 ORP. Fresh Pure has negative 219. It's 99 cents a gallon. You just gotta go get it yourself. That's self-service dispenser. Kangen is about $3,000. But I still said that I stood up for my high profile clients. If they would like to have that, that's what they get. But you can still get it too for 99 cents a gallon. Just go get it yourself. Go grab a $5 container somewhere. Walmart, $13 for a $5 container. Go pick it up, drink this water. I guarantee you it's gonna be helping move your stools. When you wake up in the morning, I combine 16 ounces of water and either grapes, watermelon, cucumbers is great too, but you want to have water-rich food. Okay, watermelon, grapes, berries of any kind, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. But grapes are predominantly the best. Watermelon's predominantly the best because they have all the nutrients, minerals, vitamins that you're going to need throughout your entire day inside of those things. Watermelon is by far probably the most packed with everything that you need. Cucumbers as well. When you wake up in the morning, hydrate. Do not go eat some cereal. Do not go eat bacon and eggs. Do not go consume breakfast biscuit from McDonald's. Don't do all that. You don't need to do all that. Just focus on giving yourself what you really need, which is proper energy. And that's what's going to help you guys. Okay, let's keep going. Increase fiber, like I told you guys. Apples, you have pears, you have the ginger, you have alkaline foods, bananas, melons, cauliflower, alkaline forming foods, excuse me. You have lettuce, you have leafy greens. You also have, I would say, there's plant-based coconut yogurt that you guys can also have probiotics. Sauerkraut. You can have kefir, you can have kimchi. Avocado, sweet potatoes, those things are pretty good. And they help to prevent water retention. Okay, so let's see. Change the diet. So again, if you're a heavy meat eater, I would cease to eat that for a little while. If you eat a lot of gluten, a lot of bread, cease to eat that for a little while. Just take it away. Take away all the gluten, all of the wheat, all of the cheap wheat. Okay, not all of it is bad. You know, if you get bread that's sourdough bread, that's handmade, people have made their own strains, those are pretty good to eat. Other than that, I would avoid everything else. Change your sleep schedule. I used to work overnight, and that was probably the most awful time of my life because I had no energy. I was going against the circadian clock so much that I just didn't have anything for me. I was in such an acidic place. I was so bad from doing that, it didn't help me do anything. So that was probably one of the worst things that I could do, was work overnight. Because I was not getting the sleep and the rest, the natural order from the circadian rhythm, the circadian clock. I would start to, at 7 p.m., wind down. I would just start to take myself away from screens, cut the blue lights off, cut the stressful things off by 7 p.m. By 9 p.m., find yourself some time to really get into maybe a book prior to bed. And then 10 o'clock at the latest, get yourself into bed and get some sleep. Okay? Change your sleep schedule, y'all. If you focused on sleep, you never be sick. Focused on sleep, focused on eating when you're actually hungry and drinking when you're actually thirsty, just doing things in the right order, you would be really healthy all the time. Mindful movement. That means don't go to the gym and start ego lifting, picking up 1,000 pounds for no reason because you want to be seen. You're doing this for your body's benefit. Your body does not benefit from trying to go pick up a house. You look like Incredible Hulk. That's stupid. It doesn't make sense. If you got to do that to feel like you need to be valuable, then you need to go fix yourself. Still, get into a meditation place. Also, when you get up in the morning, you should meditate. So let me put this up here. So I have up next breathing exercises, but let me put meditation. Meditation is good because what this does is it gets you into parasympathetic relax and repair. This is how we stop constipation, bloating, and acid reflux, because you're going to get yourself into a place where the energy is going back to the visceral organs. It's going to be able to take care of the systems of peristalsis, digestion, and it's going to be able to do things, move things through your body. Breathing exercises, box breathing is good. Okay, that's a system of, say, take 5 seconds. You inhale for about 5 seconds. What you do in box breathing is, it's very, very simple. Okay, box breathing does this. It says whenever you need to relax yourself, take 5, put your hand up like this. Inhale 5 seconds through your nose. Now hold it 5 seconds. Exhale through your nose. Hold it 5 seconds. That's box breathing. If you want to be excited, in an excited mode, you then can do something called Wim Hof breathing. There's a gentleman named Wim Hof, they call him the Iceman. Wim sits inside the cold tubs that are freezing cold. He regulates his body temperature just by using his mind and his breath. All he has to do is inhale through his nose very rapidly. So I want you to take your hands, put them on your stomach. You're going to inhale rapidly through your nose. You can do it 5 times, 10 times. I'll do it 10 times. Now all of a sudden I have oxygen that went all through, it went to my head. I took it in through my nasal cavities and I pumped it all the way to my head. So now I have oxygenated up here. Now, all of a sudden the functions will start to activate within me. That's when you need to be excited. You need to do both sometimes. Sometimes you're gonna have a place where you wanna have box breathing, try to calm yourself down. Sometimes you wanna get yourself into an arousal state, where you wanna breathe even more powerfully and begin to increase that, okay? When you do that, you begin to increase that. All of a sudden, you're gonna keep pumping, firing, keep on going, and that's what's gonna move you to a new place, all right? So those are breathing exercises that you can do. Daily exercise, something very simple. Break down each body part. Glute, quad, shoulders, upper back. You can have stretching. You can have your core, your abdominals. You can have even a cardio day. You can take down 3 to 4 exercises each. glute bridges, squats, front squats, back squats, something completely simple, and upper shoulders, arms, bicep curl, whatever you want to do. Just put it to where every day you get up and do something daily exercise, okay? Order a grounding cord from Amazon, and a grounding wrist strap. You will see I have a grounding cord right here, a grounding cord, and I plug myself in. I have a wrist strap on my ankle. Let me see if I can raise it. So, I don't know if y'all can see it, but y'all might be able to see it. It's right here. Right here is a grounding wrist strap on my ankle. And I can plug it in, plug myself into the wall, and as I'm sleeping, I'm grounding. Getting more negative electrons inside my body that's helping me to stay hydrated. Think of a grounding cord like an IV. It's helping you hydrate. Okay? Weight management. If you do all these processes, you'll have proper weight management. You'll also have a proper hormonal release of leptin and ghrelin. Leptin and ghrelin is the hunger cues, the hunger hormones. So ghrelin is going to tell you I'm hungry. Leptin is going to tell you I'm full. Leptin and ghrelin. Most people overeat because they don't drink enough water. You're most likely dehydrated. You're not hungry. So you're eating when you should be drinking. Okay? Nasal breathing instead of mouth breathing. Nasal breathing is a direct connection, again, to this area right here. Parasympathetic relaxation repair, growth. After you eat food, try this. Go for a post-meal walk. If you have a dog, take your dog for a walk. Okay? Stretching and yoga is really, really good for you to do. So I would, if I'm in a studio near you, if you're near one, hot yoga is really, really good. But releasing the tension and the pressure that you have is really, really good. So I believe in stretching and yoga. I've been doing it for many years now. It's really, really good. And herbal teas, I only suggest Awaken and Replenish. 2 custom-made herbal teas that I make. They clear out your gastrointestinal tract, your GI tract, your vagus nerve. It balances out your body. It purifies your blood. So you can go to my website, you can catch on, you can see both of them, all the ingredients that I put inside of them. They also include mineral cell salts that you guys can eat, that are dissolved inside the formula, with solfeggio sound frequencies infused by cymatics to raise your vibration. So those things are really, really great things for you to try. Herbal teas. All right, now I'm doing my 12-week cellular detox program. Right now, it is up until Friday. The cost is an investment of $6,600. After Friday, it goes up to $12,000. I'm only going to have 100 people coming into my program. So I'm already pretty much up there in terms of capacity. So people will be taught, because every 2 weeks they get access to me. So for the next 12 weeks, you're going to be able to change all these issues that you have inside of your body. So every 4 weeks, essentially, you keep on going, check in with me, you sign up. You keep on going, and this is how we're going to stop you from having constipation, bloating, acid reflux, increase your relationships, increase your energy. Whatever issue that you have, I'm here to solve them, but it's based upon your level of commitment. Okay, so other than that, quickly in my bio, you guys can apply to work with me, and happy Thursday. Thank y'all for coming out for my class today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, at the same time. All right? Take some notes if y'all need it. I'll leave it up for a little bit, and love y'all. Peace.